Hi guys, we're back talking to you more about Saturn square Neptune, one of the big aspects of 2015 and 2016. And what we wanted to address in this recording is the idea of the signs, the zodiac signs that are most influenced by the Saturn square Neptune. So we're going to get a little bit more specific, a little bit more technical in terms of degrees and signs, but we hope that you find it helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So the mutable signs, all the zodiac signs are kind of divided into these three groups, which are called modalities. We have our cardinal group of signs, and they've been strongly influenced by the Uranus-Pluto square. So you guys don't worry, everybody gets their time in the sun. And the cardinal signs, which are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, have definitely had plenty of dancing with the cosmos.
Mm-hmm.
The fixed signs were the ones most affected by Saturn in Scorpio, and that's Taurus, Leo, Aquarius. Who am I forgetting? Scorpio.
How could you forget
Scorpio? Oh my gosh.
Oh, the Scorpios won't be happy about that.
There'll be revenge to be paid here.
There's gonna be hell to pay.
And then our mutable signs are going to be most affected by the individual transits of Saturn in Sag and Neptune in Pisces, but of course most by this aspect between these two.
Mm-hmm.
And the mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. I didn't forget those, so that's good.
Yeah.
And so basically we want to talk a little bit about what this means. Why are they most influenced? How are they going to be most influenced? And the only other piece that's a little bit technical is the idea of those signs are the most significant, and then there are particular degree parts within those signs that are going to be directly and most intensely triggered by this square. So each zodiac sign has 30 degrees in it, and basically the planets can fall or be anywhere from 1 to 30 or 0 to 29, depending on which sort of counting system you use. So if you've got your chart, you'll know that there are numbers next to the planets as they're placed in your chart. So the Saturn-Neptune square, the first hit or the first sort of phase of that, which is November-December 2015, is happening around 7 degrees, Pisces and Sag. The second hit or phase, which is June of 2016, is happening around 12 degrees, Sag and Pisces. And then the third hit or phase is happening around the 10-degree mark of Sag and Pisces. So really this is about aspect theory, I guess, Jodie, isn't it?
It is. Good old aspects.
Yeah, the best juicy part, but usually the most confusing part for people.
Definitely.
So essentially what we're saying is that if you have planets in your chart that are around 7, 10, or 12 degrees of any of those mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Sag, or Pisces, the Saturn-Neptune square is affecting you.
Or the chart points, like especially
those chart points, you're right.
The ascendant or the midheaven.
Right, so not just planets.
Especially, or the IC or the descendant, right? So the first house, the 4th, the 7th, or the 10th.
Yeah. So if you have house cusps or your angles are around those degrees. And of course, the two most important of all of those are the ascendant and the midheaven. Yeah. So if your ascendant is at 7 Gemini, then this is triggering you even though it's not happening in the sign of Gemini. And that's because Sagittarius makes an opposition energy or influence to Gemini, and Pisces makes a square. So those sensitive degrees, 7 degrees, 12 degrees, and 10 degrees in those 4 mutable signs, they're like the hot spots, really.
Yes.
Or the soul spots, I guess, because it's more of a mystical type of a transit, maybe.
Yeah.
Or the manifestation points, since we talked a little bit about that in our other video.
And it also takes a certain amount of time because we're talking about Saturn, which is a slower moving planet, right? And then Neptune, which is a much slower moving planet. So these transits take a bit of time to unveil what their effects are. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
So they do take time to sort of stir things up, that nothing, you're not going to have it all happen in November 2015 and then it's done.
Yeah.
If only it happened like that. But I guess it's like it starts a process that, it's a 3-part process, if you like, that will unfold starting around November 2015 and continuing until about September of 2016.
And I always like what you say around like the 3 part of a transit. The first
Yeah.
hit, you call it, is the information.
Yeah,
The information that comes, the first revealing of what this influence might be, and then the second hit or swipe is the reviewing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
Maybe
reflecting.
the sort of behind the scenes working with whatever this aspect is, and then the third and final is the last go, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe the manifestation, since we're talking about Saturn and
or the letting go, if it's
letting go. Yes, of course.
Yeah, but you're right. The first hit, like November, December, is the introduction of a new energy, essentially, and so it can feel a little bit dramatic, and you can get taken by surprise. But it's also when that new awareness and insight comes in. Oh, it's like ding, ding, ding. The cosmos has said you need to attend to this, or you need to go over there, in your life, depending on what is triggered.
That's right.
And I guess we wanted to sort of highlight those mutable signs because they're the 4 signs that are going to be most directly triggered. So because of the way they make an angular relationship to each other. So Virgo is opposite Pisces. So anytime something's happening in Pisces, it's influencing Virgo. And Gemini is opposite Sag. So anytime something's happening in Sag, it does have an influence. It's a slightly different in terms of the technicalities or the specifics, which, when you become a really Virgo type astrologer, you can kind of go all over. But generally speaking, the theme of Saturn in Sag, that idea of maturity or responsibility, having to maybe grow up, develop wisdom or apply wisdom, it's very important for Sag, but for all the mutable signs. And I sort of got on my soapbox a bit about that when Saturn it was in Scorpio. Because the same thing, it wasn't just Saturn in Scorpio, it's all 4 of the fixed signs. Aquarians went through a pretty intense time, and so did Taurus, and so did Leo.
And mutable signs tend to kind of, they're the last modality, right? They're the transitional modality before the cardinal, right?
Yeah.
So there is this sense of transition and endings. I feel that very much going to happen in 2016, like with this influence especially. Like really,
for sure,
like a lot of transition.
Huge, because you're right. The mutable signs are the signs that would correlate to the end period in a season. The cardinal signs are at the start of the season. They're the signs of the equinox and the solstice. So, we have the March equinox, and we have spring, or we have autumn, and we're definitely going in a new direction. That's the cardinal. And then the fixed signs are the middle of the season. And that's when we know if it's the middle of summer, it's really hot. There's nothing else. It's just hot. Or if it's the middle of winter, it's just horribly cold.
And we're just sticking it. We're just in it.
You're just in it.
Sticking in
that
there.
repetition and that continuity. That's the fixed energy.
Yeah.
I like the middle of summer much better than the middle of winter. But that's personal preference, I guess. But the mutable signs are the end of the season. And in the late spring, you can get days where it's very spring-like and very mild, but you can still get some really hot days. And sometimes you still get a flashback to winter. So that's the idea of the mutable, is that they are constantly choppy and changing. And so by their nature, they're signs, as you said, Jodie, they're transitional. And so we've got this major angle, which is about transition and change.
Totally.
And I always think, when a mutable sign gets a whiff of change, it's like blowing a leaf. It's off, A fixed sign, like the change comes in and they're like, nah, digging my heels in.
Not happening.
I'm ignoring. I'm resisting. But the mutable signs, they're just blowing around in the breeze like leaves. So there is a lot of movement. And again, if you think about your personality type, if you're somebody who doesn't move very easily, then this could be difficult for you because it's time to move. If you're somebody who moves a lot, you're really going to have a lot of change. And it won't necessarily be direct linear progress, but you will have some great sort of tangents. That's the sidebar. That's the mutable kind of.
There might be some helpful steering with Saturn in a
that's
mutable
true.
sign, right?
Yeah.
There might be some helpful steering there. So,
Yeah. So if you are one of those 4 mutable signs, this is your transit, and this is your time to really get your dreams embodied, I guess.
Yes.
So go forth and leave us a comment below and tell us how you're experiencing it.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.